Alrighty, this is my third attempt at trying to create a podcast on prosperity. This is just my thoughts on that. It takes about 3 minutes. A little bit of a challenge. I got a little piece of paper here and my computer, and I'm looking at the screen, looking at the picture, trying to get it all right, clicking and that type of stuff. So I may stutter, but in any event, I hope to get my point across. So, again, in the next 3 minutes, I'd like to share with you some thoughts that I have concerning prosperity and how we get there. It's really my spin on an economic principle first described by David Ricardo in 1817 called the comparative advantage. And while it was mainly used to encourage trade between countries, um, I think it points out why we need us. So to kind of go over this, I'm going to show you something. But if you want to know a more robust discussion about the topic, I would suggest visiting www.ted.com. That's the TED website, and look for the site by Matt Ridley called When Ideas Have Sex. And his name is spelled Ridley, Matt Ridley. Okay, so let's say that we are stranded on a desert island, and there's you, and then there's me. And in order to survive on this island, there are two crucial items. There is the need of a spear for getting food, and there's the need of an axe for making shelter. Now, you can make a spear in 1 hour, and you can make an axe in 2 hours. Now, me, on the other hand, I'm a little clumsy, and I'm not as bright as you are. And so it takes me a little bit longer. It takes me 4 hours to make a spear, and it takes 3 hours for me to make an axe. So technically, you don't need me. You're better at making both spears and axes than I am. In fact, your work day is at 3 hours, whereas my work day is at 7 hours. Okay. Also notice that of the two tools that are needed, this axe and the spear, you're better at making spears than you are making axes, and I'm better at making axes than I am at making spears. Now, if you consider the principle of specialization, which involves spending time on the things that you are good at or that we are good at and getting better, something very interesting can happen. If you make 2 spears and I make 2 axes, our workday has now shrunk by 1 hour each. So whereas it took you 3 hours before, it's down to 2 hours. Where it took me 7 hours before, it's now down to 6 hours. So it's each shrunk by 1 hour. Okay. And if we agree through a cooperative exchange to share our products and services, then what you notice is I now have a spear and an axe. You now have a spear and an axe. We have saved 1 hour of time. Okay, and that is actually what do I want to say? That is the definition. See, that's what happens when you're trying to get this done. That's the definition of prosperity, the notion of meeting your needs in less time. So in this example, through specialization and cooperative trade, we both gain an hour of prosperity. So what are the 5 key points to this comparative advantage? The first thing is that I have prosperity locked in you, and you have prosperity locked in me. And what unlocks this prosperity is the notion of specialization, which speaks to, each of us spending time in areas that we're good, as well as cooperative trade, sharing our goods and services with each other. The next principle is that if I become sick and can't produce, you actually lose an hour of prosperity. So it's worth at least an hour of your time to help me get back on my feet, because when I get back on my feet, you regain your hour of prosperity. So if I lose, if I go down, you actually lose. And that's whether you like me or not. The other thing is that the better we perform individually, the better we do collectively. And that should kind of make sense. And then the other principle is that the more people we have doing what they are good at, which is enhanced with enthusiasm and passion and love for what you do, the more we can all have and do. So I hope with kind of going over this comparative advantage and showing these 5 principles, I've been able to convince you of my principal point, And the way that I started is that we need us. Thanks again for taking the time. It's less than 5 minutes. If you have further questions, send me a message. If you want a more robust discussion, go check out Matt Ridley's discussion on the TED website. Again, that's www.ted.com. Thanks a lot for your time. Peace.